let's look at image C, where we really do a double take, don't we, as we try to focus on the center. In this line drawing, it's not quite clear where the center is, so I think I'm going to start this time on the edge. And where the handle is where the body of Hector is, right behind the chariot, and it's being dragged by Achilles. But in terms of the frame of the picture, the main frame of the picture, we really have to cut that part off. It's almost like that really shouldn't be part of the morally good picture that this is. Why is Achilles dragging the corpse of Hector? So if in our mind's eye we simply cut off that 1/4 of the picture to our left, and then think of the rest of the picture as the picture, the center point of that picture is the Sēma. And the center point of the picture is also Achilles, who has just jumped off the chariot and who is running at full speed. And here's where the double take comes in. Look at his foot, and the foot is in front of the Sēma, but the rest of his body is behind the Sēma. And that's because the artist is so eager to show that Achilles has run all the way around the Sēma. It's almost like the foot is ahead of the body, or the other way around. The team of horses, again, is taking a left turn. You again see the right-hand horses having their heads thrust forward, the left-hand horses having their heads pulled back, impulse and restraint. Again, you see not a lion, but a snake guarding the Sēma. Once again, the Sēma is both the tomb of Patroklos and later for Achilles as well, and a turning post for the chariot. But I want to go back to this point of interest that Hector's body is almost censored, and it's marginalized because it's morally out of place. And I go back to my formula, catastrophe in myth, normalcy in ritual. When an athlete in the 5th century, or let's say 6th century, is reenacting the apobatic moment when Achilles jumps off the chariot. Mm-hmm. When that happens, in terms of an athletic race, nobody's going to be dragging corpses behind their chariots. That's the pollution that happens in myth that has to be purified in ritual by doing it over and over and over again to make up for the pollution that was there in the larger-than-life version that happened back in the heroic age.
So you're saying even though the body isn't present physically, it's still present mentally?
Oh, it's still present mentally, and actually if you just go where the handle of the vase is, you see it there. So it's there, even if you don't want to see it, it's there.
And even in the athletic event, it's not there physically, but it might be there mentally? Is that what you were saying?
That's what I'm saying. You can interpret the killer instinct of an athlete, so to speak, when they're really heading for the finish line. And it's almost as if they were ready to kill their opponent. To be that kind of force that is still a residue, shall we say, of the original event, the prototypical event, when Achilles was violating the corpse of Hector.
Which is all incitement, all moving forward.
It's all moving forward, and it's this mad rush.
So would you say then when we see these otherworldly figures coming down, stopping it, is that the restraint in the picture to match the incitement?
Yes, and it's also the humanism that takes hold, that makes whatever happened in the heroic age something that is important to reenact over and over and over again for eternity. And I think even the encircling of the tomb is a wonderful way of thinking about eternity, because every time you go to a picture, you see a chariot rounding a turning post. And you come back to it the next day, and there it is, rounding the turning post again. And so it's an eternal recycling.
And on a round vase too, right?
Yes, in a round vase. So everything contributes to this idea of concentration, as you put it the last time. Focusing, saying what's absolutely important, what's absolutely essential at this moment. And then when you come back to it, maybe something else will be absolutely essential and important. So let's take a quick look at image D. The Sēma is there in the center. And in this case, the lion is not guarding the Sēma. It's right on the shield of Achilles. And as for Patroklos, who is hovering near the top of the Sēma, you notice that he too has a picture on his shield, which is a running leg that corresponds to the epithet of Achilles, Achilles swift of foot. And again, you see him, Patroklos, with wings, so he is hovering over the Sēma. A very good picture of the charioteer. And you notice that the costume of the charioteer, which is, as is conventionally the case, ankle length, is covered with little stars. And I like the fact that in ancient Greek, the word for star as a signal for a system of meanings is also Sēma. So these pictures are just loaded with signs.
Because you said in an earlier conversation that the emblems that are on shields are also called Sēma.
And the emblems on shields are also called Sēma. So everything is meaning. And the meanings all seem to concentrate on the death of a hero and what happens after the death. And I come back to what Nestor said to Antilochus in our 7 passage A, where when he gives a signal to his son, it has to do with interpreting what that thing is, where the turn of the chariot race will happen. And one of the alternatives is that it's the tomb of a hero who died a long time ago. So it's all there.